issue 5, my own masterclass is all about creating some shadow effects. Now I've introduced to you here 4 different shadow effects. Here today is a video, I'm going to show you one of those, and it's actually my favourite one. So it's the one where we can make wording look as if it's jumping off of the page here. Really, really simple to do. And don't forget, with as many projects as possible, we always try to include the templates for you as well. So let's have a look at how we did this. So to create this project where it looks as if your lettering is actually hovering above the page and you can just see these shadows underneath, it's really, really simple. What I've used here is a light board. Now I can't stress enough that this is a really handy tool to use for your lettering, and this is just one way of using it as well. So if you do get the chance to invest in one, absolutely do. So I'm going to pop this to the side and show you how we created this. The idea is that you need to make sure that your shadow absolutely exactly replicates the lettering above. So what we do is we create the shadow first and we go in with the lettering afterwards, so we can overlap it where we need to. So let's pop that to the side. So I've got here the letters written out. This is exactly what I want to write. Now you can do this yourself with your own wording, or you can bring in the templates that you get in the issue otherwise if you want to. I would suggest, if you're going to use this with the light board, maybe go over that with the black pen first of all for practice, but then also you can use that and you can see it a little bit better through the light board. Now I've got a super smooth paper here and I'm going to turn on my light board. I always use it at the full light, so as bright as your light board will go. So that's the 3rd setting on this one. And then when I place my paper over the top, we can clearly see through there. So I can now letter over that. So before I do so, I want to think about where I want my final coloured lettering to be. So this is about central, which is perfect. So my shadow would actually fall a little bit lower. So I'm going to just pull up the top of the paper there to bring that lettering down slightly on my page. Now I can go over this with a grey pen first of all. So this would be your shadow colour. My favourite is a Tombow and the number is N75. That's a really pale grey. So simply take this down if you need to, but simply trace through on your first piece of paper, going over your lettering. I love the squeak of the pen there that we get. I'm just going to do the word love here so you get the idea on how to create this technique. There we go. So I've gone over that exactly. So now all you need to do, I mean, of course you can do your 3 letters or you can do your own words. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to move this down so you can see where my shadow is now slightly lower than the love word below. You can move it just down or you can move it to the side or wherever you want the shadow to fall. I'm going to move it down and ever so slightly to the right there. Not a lot, just a little bit there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over on exactly the same piece of paper with my bright colour, and I'm going to go overlap that grey that you've just done, following the lines underneath where the light board's showing through. So going back over the word, really ignoring the grey if you can. Now you can do this with a really large drop shadow, or you can just move the paper ever so slightly if you want the tiniest shadow there. There we go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn this light off and we can have a look at what that effect is without this showing through. So we can see here that our love word looks now as if it's hovering, and really the only trick is to make sure that is exactly the same. So the shadow and the lettering are identical, and that's where this light board comes in really handy. The only other steps I've done for this project, once I've created my lettering with my shadow, is I have drawn a pencil line across the top and just trimmed this top piece away. So it looks as if my letters really are lifting up above the page. So it's really as simple as that.